Greetings, people of God. It's the Revelator again, and I've got a message that I want to present that is coming directly from God. After events that occurred on 31 July, events that I believe were a major disappointment to the masses. However, I don't only represent the masses, but I represent the voice of God, not the voice of the people that is regarded as the voice of God, but the voice of God that reveals the deeper mysterious insights of God. So I have a message that wants to reflect the outstanding position of God after 31 July. I need you to understand something, but first I'll give you an example before I give my spiritual presentation. Just early this morning, I updated my status, and on my status, I updated two different statuses of soldiers on those statuses. And my messages on those statuses, I was trying to explain that there is no need or reason for people to hate the military, but there is a need for people to hate the command behind the military. And when I'm talking about hating the command behind the military, I'm not talking about a command that is made up of any authority in the physical, but spiritual authority. I'm not talking about the command of the president. I'm not talking about the command of the generals, but hating any command that is behind the military. There is no need for you to hate anyone that is a soldier, anyone that is in the military, or anyone that is in the police force. I'm going to explain to you so that you understand how the spiritual operates behind everything that happens in the physical. I want to restructure your thinking spiritual capacity so that you start fighting relevant wars, because God has already told me that He has sent me as not just the revelator, but the spiritual political activist. So I want to redirect you to start fighting relevant spiritual wars than to walk in the streets to protest against governments, to protest against military powers that are not the focus. What you see in the physical is not what is happening in the spirit, but what is happening in the spirit is the focus that I want to explain, that empowers presidents, that empowers generals, that empowers all protocols, that empowers all forces and powers, that empowers any developments of either a battle that is won or a battle that is lost. I'll give you a scripture. There is a scripture in the Bible in which Jesus meets a Roman centurion soldier. This Roman centurion soldier was actually a general who had the capacity, who had also men that were operating under him. And he goes to Jesus to look for a healing of his servant who was bedridden back home. And this servant needed healing. And the way he presented himself to Jesus is also the same reason that Jesus declared that he had never seen such faith in Israel, as such the faith that he had seen in this Roman centurion soldier. And what are the words that were spoken by this Roman centurion soldier? He said, I am a man, and I am also a man under authority. Just say a word. I am a man that is also under authority. Master, just say a word. I want to explain about that part only, and the reason why Jesus regarded this man as the best faith that he had ever seen in Israel. There are so many miracles that happened during Jesus' time. There are so many wonders that happened. But what surprises me is that Jesus regards the highest level of faith in ways that have been spoken by a military general soldier. And if I'm going to measure these words, why are these words being regarded as the highest level of faith? Because he met a soldier, not just a general in the physical with an earthly rank, but a general who understands that though he is a general in the physical, he has got another level of authority to submit under. And I want you to understand me. He wasn't even talking about the authority of Caesar above him. He was talking about another level of authority that decides, that empowers or determines the military to function, the military to have power. He understands that there are principalities. He understands that there are powers. He understands that there are forces that govern nations, that govern military forces, that govern air marshals in the spirit. This is the understanding that this Roman centurion general who had come with his issue to Jesus had. I want you to understand that every soldier, every general, every policeman, whichever rank that they have, you understand that you might be married to a soldier. He's just a human being like you. A soldier also gets sick. A policeman also gets sick. You can be married to a soldier. Your wife could be a policewoman. And I'll give you another example of a scripture. There was a general, a Syrian general in the Bible, in the book of Kings, who went to prophet Elisha because he had fallen sick. He had been struck by a pandemic threat during those times, and it was leprosy. And he was delivered from that sickness by a prophet, to the extent that he had to carry a representation of Israel to Syria. Though he was a general, but in another office, he was not a general. He had to take a command. He had to take an instruction. He was not above that authority. He was under authority. People of God, I don't want to make this message very long. I just want to get straight to the point. Do not be tempted again to make protests against those that are not in power. Do not demonstrate against a government authority that is not in power, but rather focus your spiritual efforts to fight against the governments in spirit, the powers in spirit that anoint and ordain government authorities. I know this message is going to be criticized by many that don't understand spiritual things because they believe a certain general, they believe a certain president, they believe a certain king is in power. You have it all wrong. Caesar is not in power. Naaman is not in power. The Roman centurion soldier understands that he is a man who is not above authority, but I am also a man that is under authority. So just say the word. So what you're supposed to be afraid of is the authority that is above. You should not be afraid of the authority that is under. Henceforth, you are supposed to honor your government. You are supposed to honor your military, but you are not supposed to fear what you are not supposed to fear. You are not supposed to fear those that are under authority. You are supposed to honor those that are above authority, and you are supposed to fight anything that gives authority or violates or abuses the authority and gives instruction to those that are under authority. I hope you understand this message and wisdom from God.